Hello, and thank you to everyone for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Karel van Heulen. I'm Product Manager at Televic Conference, and I'm delighted to introduce here today my colleague, Christophe Clozier, our Solution Engineer at Televic Conference.
Thank you, Karel. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Okay. And today we're very happy also to present you a deep dive into our digital wireless communication system, Unite. So this session will provide you a little bit more comprehensive look at its features and capabilities. Okay. The webinar itself will take 45 minutes. And to make it interactive, we have organized 3 different polls and questions. So to make things even more interesting for you, participants with all 3 correct answers will stand a chance to win a €40 Amazon gift card. So make sure to stay engaged and alert. And if for any reason you can't catch the entire session or you would like to revisit certain parts, don't worry. We will be posting the recording of this webinar on our website within the next week. You can access this webinar as well as our past webinars at www.televic.com/conference. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's take a moment to provide you a brief overview of what you can expect for today's webinar. First, we'll begin with explaining the capabilities of our digital wireless communication system, Unite. Then we will explain you the guided tour use case. Afterwards, we'll discuss the interpretation and language distribution use case. And then we'll give a comparison between the Unite system and the infrared system, our Lingua IR system. And then when we approach the end of the webinar, there's of course time for your questions. So please don't hesitate to share your questions with us in the question tab. You can do this along the webinar and we will answer them at the end. Okay, Christophe, maybe just to start, Unite, what is exactly Unite? How would you define it?
Unite is a digital wireless communication system that allows people to communicate and interact each other in a wide range of applications. Especially for tour guide application, Unite is a perfect solution. For factory tours, museum tours, or tourism facilities, Unite is a perfect communication system. Unite allows questions from the audience on integration of a second guide. A guide uses a microphone and a large audience can listen to the guide. But you can also interact with participants and participants with each other.
Okay, so maybe let's start with the first use case, the guided tours. For a guided tour in a museum or in a manufacturing plant, for example, what or which Unite devices do you actually need?
First of all, you need a transmitter for the guide.
Okay. Okay, maybe you can explain us the transmitter.
Yes, you also configure. First of all, you need a transmitter for the guide. There is 2 different kinds of transmitter. Pocket, you need TP. You can connect different type of microphone or headset, or else use internal microphone. Handset microphone, you need TH. Secondly, every person that follows the tour needs a Unite RP with an headphone.
Okay. So in this case, as you can see here, the guide uses one of the two transmitters, either the TP or the handheld at the TH, to broadcast audio to a large audience of visitors. Can you maybe describe the functionality of each device separately?
The Unite TP is equipped with different type of audio connectors. We'll talk about it later. There is also a large screen that gives us all the necessary information regarding the configuration of the group. You can choose on the different button to. You have also the contact. You allow to recharge the battery, but you can also charge with USB for small application. You can hand the Unite TP to the belt or suspend it at your stroke. The Unite TH also equipped with a large screen and function button. You can use it directly without other accessory. On the RP, the receiver use a 3-pin standard mini jack to connect headphone.
So in the beginning, you talked about the interactivity, so interactivity between participants and the tour guide. How can we use Unite when this kind of interactivity is needed?
With Unite RPT, you can ask a question to the guide. This device is equipped with a talk button. When you press the button, you can ask a question. There is 3 possibilities to configure this button. Press and talk. When you have finished to ask a question, relaunch the button. Press talk and press again when you have finished. Request mode. The guide receives a message on the screen and he needs to validate before your microphone is open.
Okay. So,
you can also configure audio routing in talkback menu. There is 2 options. The first option, the guide and audience can listen all the question. The second option, only the guide is able to listen the question. So you can imagine a lot of use case with this functionality.
Okay. So we obtained then this use case. So the tour guide is actually talking in the TP in this case. The visitor can talk back with the Unite RPT, and the guide can listen to what the visitor is saying in the headset. Is it possible to increase the interactivity even more? Can I, for example, share the audio from a video?
Yes, of course. There are several ways to connecting an external sources to the transmitter. Line in and line out on TP with mini jack to connect directly to external audio sources or recording. With USB, you can connect Unite to a PC. It's work as a sound card. You can send presenter audio as an application such as Teams or Zoom and send speaker audio to headset. And you can also use Bluetooth to send audio from an external audio sources. On Unite TH, you found USB and Bluetooth only. On Unite RP, you can connect a headset and USB for audio too.
So how did it work? Can you maybe show us a demonstration?
Yes, of course. My first smartphone is connected to the TP, and when I launch video, you can hear the audio. One of the
Okay. So I also heard that one of the interesting features on Unite is the embedded DSP. What does it mean exactly?
Yes, you can activate a lot of options. Noise gate, noise canceller, and duker.
What is a duker exactly?
When I speak over an extended audio sources, the level decreases automatically. So you can hear me just fine.
Okay. So maybe then we can talk about the master and submaster.
In each group, you must have a transmitter, Unite TH or TP. It must be configured as master. It transmits audio to all receivers. But you can also add another transmitter. In this case, you need to configure it as submaster. Other point, you can use up to 32 groups at the same time.
And can I use this function to increase the interaction in a group?
Do you remember this use case? The guide uses a Unite TP. It is configured as master in the group. Now, I can add one transmitter, for example, a TH, and I can give it to one other guide. But before, you need to change mode to submaster. Now, two guides can speak simultaneously.
And can I use also RPT for visitors?
Yes, all the visitors can use RPT to ask questions.
And so how many persons can speak together? That's
3 persons maximum can speak at the same time in one group. On a company tour, not all visitors understand the guide. There, the guide speaks English. Here, the guide speaks English. Then you then ask a colleague to translate the tour into German. He listened to the English-speaking guide thanks to the Unite RP, like those fitted on visitors. Now, he can use a Unite TH to translate into German. Visitors can choose between the two languages on their receiver. We use 2 Unite groups to distribute 2 different audio channels.
So how can we configure this use case then exactly?
By default, when you receive a box and you open it, the group name is Unite. For the Unite TP of the guide, you can change it by group 1, for example, with menu and function button. For the interpreter's TP, you can rename it to language 1. Now, you use 2 groups at the same time, one for the floor and one for the first language channel. With receiver, you can scan and choose between 2 language channels. In fact, you switch from one group to another.
Okay. So maybe completely different question. How can we transport and charge these units?
You can use suitcase to charging Unite. There is 2 different models, one for 28 pockets and other one for 36 pockets. You need 4 hours for a complete charge.
So how can we manage the pocket receivers and how can we push a configuration to the pocket receivers? Name of groups or disable some functionalities on these receivers?
With the Unite Manager software, you can monitor the battery, push specific configuration inside the device, channel name, encryption key, etc., lock or unlock button for all the receiver and much more function.
So is it possible to transport Unite in a rack, for example, for a rental company or for company tours?
With Unite CR12P, you can charge 12 pockets at the same time. It's also manageable with Unite Manager software. You can, at the same time, manage a very big installation.
Okay.
For smaller application, you can use a desktop charger with 4 or 8 slots. There is also a very small one without management, used, for example, for an interpreter on a small group with whispered interpretation.
Okay, maybe it's time already for our first question. So the first question will pop up. What is the maximum number of channels Unite can handle in Europe?
Okay, now next point.
Yes. All right. Wireless presentation. So as a matter of fact, we are presenting wirelessly. So we present some use case, but can you also explain our setup here? What do we use here?
Yes, we use Unite for this webinar.
And what configuration did you use for that?
On Unite RP, one Unite RP is connected to the PC with an USB cable to send audio to the stream. One Unite TP is configured as master, mine. Another one as a submaster, yours. You can add a TH for question on another participant. If we use Teams, I need to use an in-ear speaker to listen remote participants.
Okay, I think it's time for a second question for the poll. Second question is completely different. Who is the main actor in the movie Oppenheimer? So let's move on to the other use case. Unite can also be used as an interpretation system or a language distribution solution so that the audience can tune into a conversation in the language of their choice. So for fixed installations or to distribute a large number of audio channels in a Congress room, can I then just use the Unite TP?
No, it's not a good idea. Unite TH use battery on only analog audio input with mini jack.
So what can I use then? Is there a more suitable device for the solution?
Yes, you can use AP4 access point. In an AP4, you have 4 transmitters inside the box. It's replaced 4 unique TP units. The AP4 has professional audio connection as symmetrical analog input and output and Dante connectivity. You can increase the number of channels you need to broadcast up to 32 audio channels.
So if we understand well, with one Unite AP4, you can broadcast 4 languages in a Congress room, for example. But do I need another AP4 then to extend my range?
No, with one AP4 placed on the ceiling on the area, you can cover more than 6,000 people. It's perfect for a show or big installation. Technology used in AP4 can cover one stadium with only one AP4 and 4 languages. You can cover around 300 meters between one transmitter, AP4, TPTH, and one receiver outdoor, without obstruction, of course.
Okay.
You need to broadcast 4 different language channels in a large audience. You can send them to one AP4 across analog Dante connection or mix of both. Now the public can select the language on their choice on each receiver. Remember, Karen, we mentioned earlier the possibility to using Unite Manager software to configure all the receivers at once when they are in the chargers. So I can push name of each languages in each channel and lock button. The audience won't need to scan the channels or change the receiver configuration. It's very secure. They will only be able to change the listening volume and select the language of their choice by reading the name.
Okay, so I think here now we see an example of such a large Congress room. So this is the Mahatma Mandir Congress Center in India. It's 6,000 square meters and I think 8 languages. Can you tell a little bit more about this setup?
Yes, sure. 2 AP4 are hanging on the ceiling on more than 1,000 receivers for the audience. The languages come from an external solution.
Okay, so we talk now about language distribution. Can we integrate all this language distribution setup within our Televic Plexus system?
Yes, it's really easy. You just need to connect audio output channel with Dante to the Dante input of 2 AP4. Now you can broadcast 8 audio channels to a large audience.
Okay, I think it's time for our third and last question of the poll. The question is, how many speakers can speak simultaneously with Unite? All right, so now for the next session, we're going to delve a little bit more into the differences between Unite and the infrared technology, like our Lingua IR. So this will give you a better perspective on which technology aligns best with your project needs. All right. So we did talk about the language distribution capabilities of Unite, and we also, of course, have our Lingua infrared system. How can we compare the solutions, and when should we use the one or the other solution? Maybe let's start with infrared. Characteristics of infrared, of our Lingua infrared, is, of course, that when you pass the wall, you can't receive language distribution from the adjacent rooms. So if we talk about language distribution, and you want to do this in a multi-room or different rooms adjacent, then this setup is easier with infrared. And you are sure which area is covered by using, for example, our footprint calculator. And also, of course, you know for sure that the signal stops at the wall, so it's not possible for eavesdropping. So for more complex installations with multiple adjacent rooms, Lingua infrared is the right solution. If we then look at language distribution with Unite, well, first of all, it's of course very easy to install. You just need one access point for 4 languages, just power over Ethernet, and very easy to fix. With Unite AP4, you can cover a large area easily beyond walls. So if it's a very complex situation where a lot of obstructions, it can still be covered with one AP4. Also, in, let's say, outdoor events or next to windows with a lot of sunshine, an Unite solution is preferred. Unite also uses AES 256 encryption key, so you can create your own key. So it's very secure inside the room. So if you have also 2 systems in one room, you can combine it easily. For example, with silent interpretation. With infrared, it's more difficult, or it's not possible to make, in fact, 2 different groups with different interpretation. But I think in each case, you need to validate the real use case and the customer experience. And the customer experience is here crucial to make the right choice. And maybe that's also how I can conclude this presentation, Christophe. I would like to say that with Unite, in fact, we have a flexible, secure, and versatile solution, what we call a Swiss Army knife. So that's, in fact, I think the most important thing to remember from this presentation. And this brings us to, first, before we go to our questions, we have indeed asked 3 questions to our audience. We see that there were already a lot of responses. So I'm really glad to announce that 3 participants who answered all questions correctly and at the fastest pace will be awarded an Amazon voucher. So congratulations to the winners, and we will be reaching out to you after this presentation. For those who did not win this time, don't worry, stay tuned, and there will be more engaging activities in the future. So every session is a new opportunity. So this brings us to the questions part. So we have covered a lot today, and we're sure you might have questions or you need more clarifications on certain aspects. So now we're moving into this part. So let's go into the question part, and I'll try to read out the questions that came up. I would like to use a Unite TP with a video player connected via Bluetooth and have the following question. It will automatically connect to the last Bluetooth device, or do I need to repair them?
You need to repair with the device. You need to pair with a code, and after you need to repair very quickly, as in your car, for example, for hands-free.
Yeah. Okay. So the question was already answered, but what if multiple persons ask a question? So up to 2 persons can ask a question at the same time.
3 persons can speak simultaneously in one group. So you can choose between one guide on 2 questions or 2 guides on one question.
Okay.
But you can limit also the number of participants at the same time. It's exactly the same as a Plexus engine, for example. You can limit the MOM.
Okay. Is there any consideration to revise the query scan for channels so that the receiver scans directly for new channels when you press the channel button without this query?
When you arrive in a new group, you need to scan, but as I explained, if you have already configured the receiver, you automatically split between the channels. They are already in the device, and you don't need to scan again.
Okay. Is there any consideration of cascading multiple AP4s to increase the range?
No, you don't. You can't increase the range, as we explained. One AP4, you increase the number of available channels in one room. The range is very large. You can cover one stadium with one AP4.
Okay. Will the new software layout, will it be revised?
You can download the software on our website on the support on software download tab.
Yeah. So it's available as Windows application, as already answered here in the question tab. And of course, it will evolve as all our software suites. Let's move on. In case of simultaneous translation, how many receivers can work with one access point?
As you like. Depend the number of persons you can put together in the same room.
There's no limit as such. How do you switch from 2 languages quickly without reconfiguring the system?
Yes, you when you scan or you are already at the language names channels in the receiver, you just need to take the button channel and switch one to the other one.
Okay. Then another question is, can the interpreters make a quick change of the language channel during a discussion, or they need 1 mic per language?
Sorry?
So the microphone they use, it's for 1 language.
One language.
Yeah,
yes.
They cannot change the language.
No, only 1 language. You need to change the name, and it's not possible to change very quickly.
Yes.
So 1 microphone, 1 languages.
Okay.
On 1 group.
Yeah. Next question is, how can we connect the access points with the translation system to take the translation channels? This is just through the analog interface or Dante as
yes. You can choose and you can do a mix.
Yeah. And you can do even a mix, yes. Is it possible in the future to complete this device with subtitles option for people that don't hear or have a problem with hearing?
You can use an EL200 device. You connect it directly to the receiver for the assistance listening.
Yes, so it's a neck loop.
Yes.
That can be used for people with hearing problems. Then a question, or more, let's say, a feature request. Can we combine the handheld microphone as a wireless floor mic with Plexus language distribution through AP4? So AP4 broadcast mode currently disables TH AP4 mic mode, while TH as master does allow the combination of broadcast and talkback.
Yes, you have a specific mode, the full duplex mode. I don't explain this morning in detail, but you can use this microphone as as a microphone and the AP4 as a receiver. So you can send some languages direct of some presenter directly in the Plexus.
Then a question: when you have one guide with one interpreter in full duplex mode, how many body pack receivers with talkback function can be involved in the conversation?
For the guide on the people, you 3 persons can speak at the same time. On other group, you use that type of microphone, and only one person speak in this group. If you want to ask question, no, you can't ask a question directly to the interpreter. You ask question to the guide.
Yes.
So you don't understand it at this time.
So we have indeed 3 people who can talk together in the group 1, and then the interpreter is another group. Is it possible to share the presentation? Is a common question. Of course, we will share the recording of this webinar. It will be on the website, so it will become available later this week or next week. And then what is the range or distance between transmitter and receiver?
Without obstruction, 300 meters.
Okay. Will it be possible in the future to get more letters for the language that is shown?
It's a frequent question where actually you have only 5 characters for a channel name. So we need to ask to the R&D for this.
Yes, we'll come back on that one. And since it's battery powered, what is the expected working time per charge?
As I have said, 4 hours for charging and 28 hours of autonomy.
Okay.
Not 20, 18. Sorry.
Okay. I think we have covered all questions, right? So if there will be still any question, now is the time. Otherwise, you can always ask them after the webinar to us directly. So if that's it, I hope that this session has been valuable to you. If you wish to revisit any part of this webinar or share it with your colleagues, as I said, the full recording will be made available on our website from tomorrow. So you can easily find the recordings under the tab Support, as you can see here, and there you can find all the past recordings also. Okay. And in fact, it's our aim to provide you with more knowledgeable insights. So we're very excited also to invite you to our future webinars. And here is a quick overview of what's coming up. So we have 3 upcoming webinars. The first is Conference and Rental Industry, and that's scheduled for Thursday, the 19th of October. Then we'll have a webinar about Confero and audio routing in Confero platform. That will be held on Thursday, the 16th of November. And then there is a session about corporate boardrooms with Televic conference, and that is foreseen on Thursday, the 7th of December. So registrations for all those sessions can already be done easily through our website. And then just before we sign off, I would like to thank you all for taking the time to join us today. If you wish to stay informed about the latest news from our site, please follow us on our social media channels. Thank you for being with us, and we hope to see you again in our upcoming webinars. Take care and have a great day. Bye-bye.